Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy Tuesday. If Tuesday, the day that this is being released, you are listening to this. If this is your first time listening, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Sophia or Soph or Sophie, and this is a podcast for a few different things. So it is a podcast for personal growth. If you're wanting to maybe shift your mindset or perspective on things, if you want to see the world in a, through the view of like an optimistic type lens, more of my beginning episodes, I talk a lot more about that and kind of those topics and kind of like the growth of life, the growth through challenges and lessons that we can learn in the times that we feel like we are like the world is just on top of us. This is also a podcast for health, fitness, and wellness, pretty much any topic under the sun when it comes to wellness, whether it's nutrition, physical fitness, spiritual wellness. I have guests on that share their own expertise and topics and to hopefully bring you new topics, bring you new perspective and opinions and experience and knowledge from other people. Today, I wanted to share a life update because I haven't really done that in a while. And sometimes when I listen to podcasts, it's kind of fun to just get like an insight into what the host's life is like and what they're up to and just kind of makes it more personal. So I want to get into that and then also tie it into kind of more so like with nutrition. I'm going to kind of introduce what is a metabolic reset and what is reverse dieting and how it can help you in your health and fitness goals. And if you feel maybe like you're stuck in your weight loss journey, if you feel like you're either A, continuing to gain weight, or B, which that could be a lot more than just like that's a lot of hormonally stuff going on. But anyways, or if you are at this point where you're kind of resistant to weight loss, so weight loss resistance, and you can't seem to lose those stubborn like 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, like whatever it is, you just kind of feel like you're stuck. And maybe you say to yourself, well, I'm eating less, I'm moving more, I'm working out more, and nothing's working. Well, this is definitely going to be an episode for you. This is going to kind of introduce to you what my framework is in my coaching business and what I am kind of shifting to as far as nutrition when I work with people one-on-one. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. But first, my life update. Here it is. I have now taken on a second part-time job at another gym, and that's here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Burn Boot Camp. So you maybe have heard that before. Maybe I know that it's like a franchise they have in other places. And I am still, like if you're listening and you've been here for a while, you know that I have my own coaching business and my own, fitness and nutrition business. And so if you saw that post, you're like, well, are you wait, what? Are you still doing your coaching business? Like there might be some confusion. And the answer is yes. Like I'm still doing both. I'm still doing my own coaching business while working at this other gym part-time. So Burn Boot Camp it's basically like, we call it camps, but it's a class. People come, it's a larger group workout. So I worked at Anytime Fitness and it's kind of similar to that, but in a way larger group setting. And like it's meant for large group classes. That's just what it is. For me personally, I have always kind of seen myself leading these big classes and being on a mic and just having to be so high energy. And I've just always had this little like push that, or just like intuitive thought, like I need to try it. And if I don't try it, I'm never going to know if I like it or not. Like if I don't like it, time was not wasted because then I know that, hey, maybe that's not for me. But maybe I'll end up loving it. And maybe it is something that I want to do in the future, keep doing. Maybe it's, it's just experience and it's helping me to grow individually and as a coach and as a trainer. So for me, just have to try it. And also when I met with Renee Spears of the Abundology podcast, I had her on my show. I don't remember the exact episode, but I will link that in the show notes. But she had told me that because she's like an intuitive, and she told me that it is okay to have a part-time side gig or like a side job while trying to work and focus on my full-time business. And she got that kind of from like a download from my spirit guides. And so ever since then, I've really thought about that. Like at the time, I don't remember if I was at Coco at the time, Coco Fit Club here in Sioux Falls, or maybe I was not yet. I think I was, but like kind of validated like, hey, it's okay that I'm doing this and that it doesn't make my business not a success, or does it mean that I'm a failure at what I set out to do? But it's only going to help me. And so I've just kind of taken that, and I always keep that in the back of my mind. So when this opportunity came along, I also had that same kind of thought, is that like, to be quite frank, like I need some more. I don't know why I just said quite frank. I never say that, but to be honest, I need to get more on top of my game financially. Like I just need to be able to pay for things and help my fiance now a little bit more. But it's just, yeah. So I'm still working on my business, and it is something that I am still envisioning as my full-time business, and hopefully eventually like my full-time income, and maybe doing side things here and there. But not only was I like energetically, intuitively like wanting to do this, but also it's kind of like, well, I need the money. So here we are. And so actually about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years actually, because about a year ago, as of next week, I will have left my full-time job at Anytime Fitness. Well, about a half a year, 6 to 12 months prior to me deciding that I was going to leave, I actually came to look at Burn Boot Camp, which I didn't really tell anyone, but I hadn't decided I was going to leave yet. But it was, the thought was there like about moving to Sioux Falls and kind of taking a shift. And so I knew I don't know if she's like a co-owner or just like a manager or what, but she had reached out. Actually, maybe her sister reached out too. A couple people reached out saying that, hey, Burn Boot Camp is looking for a couple trainers and they need to hire people. And I know that you're in Brookings, but like, yeah, I don't remember exactly. But they basically just said, there's this opening, you should check it out. And so I did. I went down, checked it out, and I really loved it. Like I loved the energy. I even got on the mic to show one of the exercises. And ultimately, I ended up not moving. And so, pursuing that just didn't make sense. So I didn't. Well, fast forward to June of 2022, at me and my sister's birthday, like get together party that we had, the manager was there, and she had also said that they're looking for people. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I would be interested. I think I would love it, blah, blah. Well, nothing really came of that until a couple months later when she reached out saying, hey, me and the owner, like we had a owner meeting, and your name came up because we're looking for people to hire. And so I met with them and we talked about kind of my situation and what they're looking for, what I'm looking for, and we made it work. And so yeah, now here I am, and I train there just a few times a week, a few classes a day. And I'm 1 week down. This is week 2, and I'm already loving it, meeting a lot of people. It is kind of like, it's like in my head, I feel like I'm a lot better at it than what I feel like I actually am. But I know it's a learning curve. I know that like right away, I knew that I would potentially have to kind of suck or have to feel awkward or have to feel like I'm not doing things right or, just mess up in order to get better, in order to succeed at this, and in order to get up to like what they expect and just how they do things. And so there's a lot of similarities with Anytime Fitness when I taught there, but there's also a lot of differences in the format and all of that. So that's that. I'm learning a lot. I am loving it so far. And also one of the things that I do like about it is that it's not just all cardio, like not just all HIIT every single day. Like they have incorporated strength training as well. So there's like a specific upper body lifting day, lower body lifting day. And sometimes it'll be like chest and triceps or biceps and triceps. Like it'll be kind of more specific to the upper body or specific to the lower body. And like they really focus on lifting heavier weights and not just super high cardio all of the time, which much like other gyms, this like group workouts are usually like the high intensity style of training, which I never was really a fan of. And so this was one thing that I really did like, one thing that I saw that I liked when I went to check it out. And I'm excited to see what happens, where this goes. And yeah. But so I am still currently at Coco as well, doing Coco and training there once a week, helping out their social media, and then training at Burn. And then also while pursuing and growing my own nutrition and fitness coaching business, which by the way, I have clients in Sioux Falls, like in person I have clients, but also I have clients who are not in the same town at all, like even in different states. And so if you ever have been wondering or wanting to work with me, but you think that we can't work together because we're not in the same town, well, you're in luck because I work with people from all over. I think probably my furthest one is Iowa so far. So along with starting this part-time job, another kind of life update change-ish is I'm really starting to try and dial in my nutrition. I have a goal of doing a bodybuilding show next year. And so I need to really start to focus in on increasing my food intake, which I have in the past year. In the past year, I feel like I've definitely increased it, but I really need to focus on increasing it even more. Getting my protein up, especially because I know I'm still not eating enough protein. So getting that up. And this is something that it's kind of funny because I am like so stoked about this. I've never been more excited to track my food because in the past, like I would say high school, college, it was more of like, I feared food. I had this like obsession with the scale and like the numbers. I would always look at the nutrition label and make sure that like my serving size was less than the serving size so that like my calories and the fat was like way lower. Like I always kind of, feared that. And then even throughout like college, I restricted a lot of food, had like these food rules and was just not a place to truly track how I am now. I never really counted calories. I just was really like obsessed with the numbers and like needing it to be as little as possible. So in the past year, I have started to use an app called My Macros Plus and started to like weigh food, and not in a controlling, obsessive way, but in a healthier, I definitely have a better relationship and healthier relationship with food. So it's in a healthful place, I guess I could say. When I first started about a year ago, I kind of feared doing it because I feared seeing what I was truly eating and like how much peanut butter am I eating? How much fat is that? And like, I don't know, I just slowly get into it. Like I definitely slowly worked my way into it and had to kind of get the hang of it and get used to it and kind of see, okay, this is actually very beneficial for me. And because I learned the amount of flexibility that I can have with it, and it's a way to not just keep me accountable, but teach me what my body needs more of. Like, oh, I've been having a lot of carbs and fat. I need to up my protein. So it's just a kind of a eye opener in that sense. So as of this week, we as in me and my fiance, we're starting to like track our food more, dial in our workouts, and just try to do better with all of that. So like I said, I'm like super stoked and excited about tracking this because like my goals that I have, I'm so excited to try and hit those goals, to try and hit the protein, hit the carbs, hit the fat, see like, it's kind of like a game for me. It's like a gamified thing. I don't know, but it's just really exciting for me. So part of this, like I said before, is increasing my food intake. This is also called a reverse diet. So when you think about what a diet is when you eat less, when you go into a calorie deficit. A reverse diet is when you slowly come out of that, like you're increasing food. You're no longer in a calorie deficit, and actually once you hit to like your maintenance calories, you go into a calorie surplus, which is like also known as a bulk. So it's just increasing your calories. And I would say that like about 80 to 90% of people of the population who like if you're wanting to lose weight, you've probably been in the calorie deficit mode or trying to be in a calorie deficit mode, maybe even without even thinking about it or tracking your food, but you have been for a long time, like years and years. And so being stuck in that place, your body has metabolically adapted. And so inevitably you've slowed your metabolism down because your body, when you have, let's say 1,000 calories, your body's gonna get really good at having 1,000 calories, and the body wants to adapt. Like it wants to survive. It wants to adapt. So let's say you're eating 1,100 calories a day. Well, if we want to lose weight, we have to be in a calorie deficit. But if you're only eating 1,100 calories a day and you're saying, okay, well, I've plateaued, I've adapted, I need to go into more of a calorie deficit, 1,000 calories or less, that is not ideal, that is not optimal, that is not healthy, that is not sustainable, and that's just gonna be, you're setting yourself up for disaster hormonally. So more likely than not, what you need to do is actually go into a reverse diet, get your food intake up to the point where your body is then has the ability hormonally and like metabolically to go into a calorie deficit in order to lose weight. But it's just the initial like thinking, okay, you have to increase food. You're gonna maybe gain weight or keep it the same, just depending on where you're starting from, before you reach your ultimate goal or like dream goal of losing X amount of weight. A lot of the clients that I have now, that's what we're doing. And because they came to me maybe eating like 1,000 calories or less, and it's not ideal. It would not be smart of me to put them in a calorie deficit even from if they were eating 1,000 calories or less. So we increase their food. And if they want to track, not all my clients track because that like it depends on the person. If it stresses you out, if you're not in a healthy mindset place or like have a good relationship with food, I would not recommend tracking right away. So it just really depends. There are other ways to do it. But a lot of my clients currently, They come to me eating 1,000 calories or less. So we need to increase that food intake. And this is 6 months to a year or longer process, just depending on the person. And especially how long you've been in that calorie deficit. Like if it's been your whole life, basically, like it's not just going to be a couple months where then you are going to be like in a place where you can go back into a calorie deficit. We got to increase that food, increase your nutrition, your calories, your macros. So, and then to be able to be in a place where you can go into a calorie deficit, like I said before. So what is a metabolic reset? It is a whole body reset that sets up your body and every system in your body to have a healthy response to stress, sleep, exercise, emotional triggers, and also things like appetite, like hunger cues. You might find, well, if you're skipping a lot of meals a day, you eat once a day and it's not even that much. Maybe you already know that you're eating not a lot. Well, but you're not hungry. That's because you've lost your hunger cues. And that's because metabolically, your body has learned to live off the amount of food that you've given it. So once you start to increase food, and it might be hard at first, but once you do that and you get your appetite back, you get your hunger back, your hunger cues back, that is an adaptation that we do want. And this is when you can have control over your weight and over your life and over your whole body. You can also kind of think of a metabolic reset and reverse dieting as a gradual process towards homeostasis. Like you're bringing your body back to homeostasis, to balanced hormones, because likely if you're not eating or you're under eating, and maybe you're under eating and overworking out, your hormones are going to be all out of whack. So it's a slow, gradual process. Once we're at a point to where your body is at a good place, metabolically, hormonally, you have increased your calories, then that's typically where we can go into that calorie deficit or slowly reducing your food intake over time, or overall calories. When I say calories, I'm not saying that we track and count calories, because we don't. Calories is just the byproduct of tracking, or knowing the caloric intake is just kind of the byproduct of tracking protein, fat, carbs. That's what I mostly track with people. And like I said, not all my clients track. It's not like you have to. It's something that can help you and can be beneficial, but you can also work up to that point. Maybe you just start a food journal, or maybe you take pictures of your food, whatever that is and whatever that looks like for you and makes sense for you. So overall, reverse dieting is the opposite of a typical diet. We slowly increase your food intake, your caloric intake, your protein, fat, carbs intake over time after being restrictive for a long time, or after being in a calorie deficit over time, instead of reducing calories, reducing food intake to lose weight, which oftentimes that's what people do for way too long. So I just wanted to give kind of a brief overview and introduction to that. I plan to do more episodes on specifics, but if you are wanting to maybe start this process and you kind of are interested to learn more for yourself, I would highly recommend that you first start by tracking the food that you normally eat day to day. Don't make any changes. Don't say, okay, well, I'm going to start eating healthier, or I'm going to start eating more protein, or eating more whatever. Just start tracking what you have currently been doing the past 3, 4, 5, 6, not even 3, probably even longer than that, 4, 5, 6, 7 months to a year, and track that for 5 to 7 days. Whether it's through an app, whether you are just maybe taking pictures, or maybe you're doing a food log and you're writing down what you have, but then you can see a bigger picture of what are you eating day to day, what does that look like within a week, and then go from there. And if you do want to start increasing your food intake after that, I would recommend just start, it depends where you're starting from. But oftentimes, most people are under eating protein. So that's a really good place to start, is to increase protein. And I will link some episodes in the show notes. So just scroll down, look at the show notes. I'll link some episodes to the protein episodes that I did for incorporating more protein and how to easily do that. If you are wanting me to maybe take a look at what you've been eating, totally more than happy to. Go ahead and just email flowthegirlpodcast@gmail.com. If you are connected to my social medias, then definitely just shoot me a message there. I'm on Instagram at Sophia_Dawn41 and on Facebook, and those will be linked in the show notes as well. If you are interested in my one-on-one coaching program, you can email flowwiththegrowpodcast@gmail.com, or go to my Instagram, and in the bio, I have a link tree. And in that, I have a one-on-one coaching form. You can fill that out and I will get back to you. We can just have a conversation, see if it's something that you want to do, see if it's something that you want to invest in, see what your goals are, what you're looking for, if we're a good fit or not. And we can get going on this before the holidays. Like no need to start on January 1st. Like, why not get ahead of it and start establishing some good habits and get some accountability through the holidays? It can make all the difference. And then we can start making some habit changes, some changes that will help you long-term, help you in your goals, and maybe teach you things along the way. Thank you for being here. If you have not yet done so and you have been listening to my podcast for a while, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a rating and a review. Just helps the show get more eyeballs. And if someone is new to it and they are not knowing if they want to listen, but they look at the reviews and they see all of the amazing comments about the podcast and what they have learned, what you have learned, then they're more inclined to check it out. So that would be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you for being here, for listening, and we'll see you next time. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, week, weekend. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Flow with the Grow. I'll see you next week for your daily dose of positivity and growth.